Hello, my name is Andrew Buckle and I'm a member of Carrollton Nazarene Church in Carrollton, Texas. Last week my wife Laurie and I went through a really torrid spiritual storm, the like of which we have not experienced for quite some time. They often say that things go wrong in threes, and that certainly was the case for us last week. First, I needed to have car repairs, and that gave us an unexpected large bill. Second, Laurie's cell phone decided to act up, and it turned out that it couldn't be repaired, so she had to replace it. And the third thing, Laurie had a minor accident in the car coming home from work on Friday. Despite all the events that happened last week, the Lord was really working in it, and He showed us quite clearly that He was totally in charge. Let me go into what happened in a bit more detail. A week last Friday, my car started making strange noises. So last Tuesday I took it to the auto shop to be repaired. Also, it was about the mileage that it needed some major maintenance work doing to it. So I had that done as well. And we ended the day with a very large bill. Now, I have a British credit card, maybe still be British, and since the United Kingdom voted to leave the European Union, the value of the pound has dropped by about 10% against the value of the dollar. So I thought, that would be a good idea to save a bit of money by putting the bill onto the British credit card. Now, for some weeks my team at work has been under pressure to get a certain amount of computers deployed. I work for a major airline in Dallas, and my job is to build and then install new computers to replace old ones at the headquarters of the airline. And our reporting week for the amount of computers that we deploy runs from Thursday to Thursday. When I went into work on Wednesday morning of last week, my total for the reporting period was 0. I'd got about 15 all ready to go in a department where there were 250 people, but I didn't know for sure the correct contact person, where all these machines were going, and whether I would need to work around people and work into the evening. Well, when I got to work on Wednesday morning, I found an email from the person who was in charge, and he had given me the cubicle numbers of everybody on my list and the working hours, so that I was able to plan my day and deploy all these computers. Now, before I went to work on Wednesday, I had spent some time in prayer with the Lord, and He told me directly not to worry, that I would get an acceptable number of computers deployed this week. It wouldn't be embarrassingly staying at 0, that He would work everything out, and that I would reach the target for the week. Well, that's exactly what happened. I felt at peace. I felt this is the Lord speaking to me, and I just decided to trust, and everything worked out exactly as the Lord had said. Well, on Thursday morning we woke up to find that Laurie's cell phone wasn't working. It was refusing to recognise a SIM card, and Laurie took it to the shop, and the poor guy there was unable to get any SIM card to work with it, which meant she decided to upgrade and get a brand new phone. Well, she went to the store after work and get it, and I decided once again that we can put the bill for that on the British credit card. Well, about 7:30 in the evening, Laurie was still at the store, and the British credit card was declining the transaction. To add insult to injury, our American bank credit card also declined the transaction. Well, I went down there, and after 5 or 10 minutes thinking about this, thinking how can we get round it, I decided to put it on our debit card, and we came to the conclusion that we could just take it out of savings and bite the bullet. Well, it was on Friday that I realised that I had actually made a mistake with my assessment of putting things on a British credit card and cheaper bills. Yes, since the vote in June to leave the EU, the pound has dropped by about 10% against the US dollar. So that means that when we transfer money over from the US to the UK, we'll get about 10% more pounds to each dollar, which is great if we're putting money into a checking account or a savings account. But it dawned on me that a credit card is a negative balance. So we get more pounds for our dollars negatively. In other words, we're getting 10% more debt. And we can now see very clearly that the Lord allowed the first one to go through so I could see my mistake, but He took an executive decision and decided that I wasn't going to make the same mistake twice. And throughout that process, the Lord reminded me of what savings are for. He asked me directly, what exactly do you need savings for? Well, to spend money in case of emergencies. And he says, well, do you put your savings in the bank or in a hole in the ground? Do you look at it and count it and get excited when there's more and more? Do you want to cuddle it and stroke it, or even worship it? I said, no, that isn't what it's for, because money is our slave, not the other way round. And through all this little thing, the Lord just told me to say to Laurie that He was giving her a new phone as a gift, as a blessing, by using some of the resources that He had given us. Well, on Friday, Laurie had had a little accident on the way home from work, and that has then got us a bit more expense, but we can manage to cover that. Now, on a Sunday morning, both Laurie and I, we usually film the morning service from our church and then post it onto our YouTube channel. Well, this last Sunday morning, which was yesterday, we arrived at church to discover that we'd left our equipment back at home. So we had to use what was already there, as the church had got a new camera over recent weeks, and we're in the process of configuring and setting up a brand new sound system. So we used the system that was already there, and to our surprise we discovered that it was a much better way of filming the morning service than what we had been doing for the last couple of years. We were so delighted with it that we're going to use this setup and ditch our own equipment. So through our mistake, the Lord actually used that to show us a better way of doing what we were doing for Him. Now, Our videos have been getting hit from a large number of the states in the US, as well as quite a good number of countries all over the world, including Europe, South America, Asia. We've had hits from Australia, and we've even had viewers in places like Iran, Iraq, and most recently Saudi Arabia. We are reaching out to people all over the world, and we're getting hits from people who are finding us in many different parts of the world. So we're getting the interest, we're getting the hits. Our next job is to make better quality videos to encourage people to watch more often and to watch longer. And who knows what blessings the Lord will bring through us doing that. So as a summary, the events of this week could have caused us really great stress if we'd allowed that to happen. And that could have led to other problems, either health-wise, or us making rash decisions and getting ourselves into a lot more financial burdens. But God spoke directly to me during the events of last week, and what He told me would happen, particularly on Wednesday, did happen. He told me He'd give me His peace, and that's exactly what happened. Now, in my wisdom, I thought I was being shrewd by using our British credit card and transferring the debt into pounds. But the Lord allowed that to go through once, and we got a larger debt rather than a smaller one, so there's the Lord's discipline with me. But also, He just allowed it to happen the once, and by doing so, He took complete control to stop me doing it again. And then the following day pointed out to me my mistake. So the Lord was intervening for my own good. And at church on Sunday, God used our mistake by us leaving our equipment at home to show us a much better way of doing what He wants us to do for the church and to further His kingdom. And in this fierce storm that we went through last week, the Lord has shown us that He was totally in charge right through. He communicated directly with us. He disciplined us, and He blessed us as well. And He has re-energized us to carry on with our video ministry that we are doing for our church. And that is all before He starts working in people who will be watching the videos that we make. And I'm sure we will get plenty of surprises, probably when we're up in heaven itself, of other people's lives being touched and changed through the work that we're doing. And so all the glory goes to the Lord. He is awesome. We have an awesome God.